you are the second owner of that car.
Yeah, so I'm the second owner of the car, and the history that I was told about the car was that the previous owner had bought it for his wife, and she used to do loads of commuting. I think she was a doctor or something like that there. The car's originally from the mainland, so who knows why, or maybe she bought it there and drove it across here. But it had 203,000 miles on it, and unfortunately, due to age and people had, the previous owners had passed away, and the car has been sold. There was an issue with the crankshaft sensor. It had actually sheared off when, I don't know who was trying to fix it. Could have been 10 years ago. Could have been just before I bought it. But the previous fella who was selling it to me, I think it was a grandchild or something, the crankshaft sensor had broken and he couldn't get it out and he couldn't fix it. So the car wasn't running. The fuel pump had seized. So he kind of just sold it to me as nearly scrap value. I bought the car, got the crankshaft sensor bored out with actually a hole saw. Yeah, we used the hole saw and we got it out. Because the crankshaft sensor's got the sensor itself, and then around it's plastic. So we just bored the plastic out, and then it actually just dropped through, which is fantastic. Worked really well.
Sweet.
Bit of a make a plan job, but it worked well. It wouldn't come out any other way. And without taking the gearbox out, we didn't really want to do that. But yeah, we got that out. We got the fuel pump replaced, and after that day, it gave me absolutely no issues. The only really minor issue it ever gave me after that was the mass airflow sensor. What happened was it was just old and there was maybe a bit of an issue, and the car would drive, there'd be no issues, but it would just be very underpowered over 3,000 RPM, nearly like a lymph mode. But we got the sensor replaced. I had a spare one from my previous car because I had a second one of those at the time.
Yep.
And never given me ever an issue since.
Now that was your first V8, the one you had previously for that.
Yeah.
So you bought that, and then you bought this E-Class to basically donate all the parts over to this one, sort of.
Yeah, so the story behind that is I bought a Mercedes CLK, also the M113 engine, and I bought it for £400 back in the day. You can't buy much these days, or really then, for that price.
Better get a pint of milk for that.
Yeah. So I bought the CLK 430, and the previous owner was a mechanic, and he'd done a bit of work to the car. He was kind of doing some things, but really he'd only messed the car up as far as he'd touched it. He had just covered up oil leaks. Not like there was major ones, but he just covered them up. Where there was rust, he covered it up and actually used electrical, cabling to hold it together, and he just body puttied over it. So if there was rust, he just tied it together with cable ties, covered up with putty, and put a black wrap over it just to kind of like make it disappear. Then he also did the exhaust. He welded directly onto the engine. The exhaust, right?
Yep.
Which obviously is a major pain in the neck to get off. But he used galvanized water piping, so it was incredibly heavy. And galvanizing is quite awkwardly difficult to weld. You have to, first of all, grind it all off, which he didn't do. So there was about 1,000,001 holes, and it was just looked absolutely awful. I've got some photos. I'll have to show you them at some point, but it was just a really, really bad condition. And I took the car and I was going to restore it because, my first ever V8, I was going to be sentimental about it. But took the car, started working on it, started restoring it, and took the sill off. Just got worse. Everything just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. But before I'd had the chance to start working on the car and get it stripped, I was needing to just buy some spares, just have some random bits and bobs lying around. So I actually managed to find the E430, which is the one we're talking about in the video. And because it was a non-runner, I was like, okay, if it doesn't run, it doesn't make a huge difference. Most of the parts are the same, same engine, same gearbox, same diff. A lot of the panels are very similar. So I'll be able to use that there as a donor car. But when I found the car and actually went down and had a look at the car, it was in such good condition. The paint was perfect. It was very, very little rust on it. Besides the car not running, it was in immaculate condition.
Yeah.
And, I thought it would really be a sin to destroy such a nice car to, fix another car. So what I actually did was decided, I'm going to keep both. I'm going to keep the E-Class, fix the issues it had with the fuel pump and the crankshaft sensor. And what I would do is then just find another one to fix the CLK. But, time is unforgiving, and bigger projects and bigger deadlines and stuff came up, and I had to, unfortunately, say goodbye to the CLK. I sold it, and I actually never sold it. I traded it for a laptop. And yeah, that's where the story of the silver laptop comes around.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, we've never used that, do we?
I mean, we've used it a good few times. We've used it in some of our other videos on our other channel, but you know, I do use it sometimes. I still have it, and I use it at the house now.
Fair enough. Well, that's very good.
But that's the story behind it. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
needed the space, and you needed the space, and didn't have the time to restore it. It's a pity, and I wonder what.
Yeah.
I think the fellow who bought his name's Devon. I wonder what he's actually done with it. I'm curious. He has a TikTok account, so it's on TikTok if anyone wants to find it. It's a silver SLK with black bonnet and black trimmings.
Devon.
And black wheels.
Okay. Well, shouting you out, Devon. Where's your E-Class? What, SLK?
CLK.
Where's your CLK at?
CLK.